Hey everybody, welcome to Sponge SFX. My name is Zelda and I'm going to show you how to recreate this black and white to watercolor melt look. So let's get started. Start with a clean face and get your pretty green mohawk out of the way, and then custom mix your gray. I used water activated body paint and blended black and white until I had the shade of gray that I wanted, and marked out the area of my face that I wanted to be in grayscale. When you custom mix colors like this, you're going to end up with a lot of shades that are different than your original shade, but don't panic. I used the darker shades in my contour areas and the lighter shades in my highlight areas so that it all looked completely planned. Because I would have you believe that I am just that organized and that I wing nothing but my liner. Only 1 minute in and already I noticed something I'd forgotten. If you're a pierced person like me and any of your piercings are going to remain visible, make sure that they're black, otherwise your entire illusion will be ruined. But if it's an area you're painting over, like your ears, I recommend just taking that ish out because ain't nobody got time for that. I covered my ear and filled in my hairline as close as possible with the gray paint. The nice thing about water activated paints is that even if it touches your hair a little, it's gonna come right out. The not nice thing is that if you're like me and your face leaks for no reason, you may have to do some touch-ups. Moving on. I painted in the drips at random. They served no purpose other than to break up the straight line on my face, so you can put these in anywhere it makes you happy. I used a NYX white pencil liner to cover my lower waterline, which hid the pink of my skin, but I use it in my daily wear a lot because it makes my eyes look a little bigger. But if you're doing a doll or cartoon look, go ham with the white liner and get that big fake eye effect. Gotta have some winged liner. I always pull my skin back just a little bit to avoid those weird bumps, because we've all had delicate liner turn into dramatic liner that way. I popped on a little mascara and a fake lash and then moved up to my brows. You can use a pencil for this, but if you've got halfway decent brows, black eyeshadow should be enough. The other half requires foundation, so go ahead and slap that on any old way you want. I use a silicone sponge to cover large areas without wasting too much product, because let's be real, foundation isn't cheap and we're trying to be fiscally responsible here. Then I use a brush to clean up lines and fill in the smaller areas. Without fail, every single time I cover my entire face, I get an itch, so the weave pat is a good move to bust out here. I contoured very lightly just so that my skin wouldn't all be one color. I used cream paints for this, and those don't set on their own. There has to be powder on top to keep them in place, so I went in and dusted a little of that on as well, which gave my face some nice dimension. With both sides completed, it's time for the fun part, friggin' rainbows! On the rainbow scale, I went full unicorn on this one, so I'm using a NYX eyeshadow base to bring out the pigments in the lighter colors like yellow and orange. Shadow base or primer is a great way to make your colors pop, and I'm even putting a little under my eye for this look, to be continued. I started at the top with red and used a loose red eyeshadow to fill my other brow, which is where mistakes were made. You'll see in a minute. And then I used a yellow shadow on my orbital bone? Is that right? It sounds right. I don't know. I didn't take anatomy. My eye socket bone, and blended it down. About here is where I noticed that my red shadow has migrated and taken on a life of its own to invade the rest of my makeup. No worries. Mistakes are fixable. Get creative. I used a little foundation on a brush, but remember that just because something happened doesn't mean you have to redo your whole look. Okay, back on track. I filled in a little more yellow and then moved on to orange filling in my crease and the top part of my lids and then blending upward to melt it into the yellow. I then added red to my lids using a less is more approach because it's much easier to add more than it is to remove. Here's where that eyeshadow primer comes into effect. I used the yellow shadow below my eyes and blended it down a little because it looks cool. More wings! Seriously, even though this look is split, I decided it would look weird if the basic elements didn't match the other side. So winged liner, mascara, false lash, in that order. This is where the struggle bussing really begins. I wanted that PC lower lash look, so I cut one of my lashes into fragments and pre-painted them with yellow body paint. I did not anticipate how difficult these tiny things were going to be to affix to my friggin' face. But with maximum effort, I managed to get it done. Success! Onto lips. I originally thought I wanted to do red, but decided to stick with the rainbow theme and switch to NYX Liquid Suede in Amethyst. I lined my lips with purple first, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is eyeliner, but I subscribe to the theory of use what you got. After I got over this weird, intense 90s lip liner vibe, I filled in the edge of my lips with gray just to bring that grayscale down and add a little interest, and then filled in the rest of my lips with purple. Once that was filled in, I patted a little blue shadow in the center to give it more depth, and then the messy part begins. I touched up the paint on my lashes first, and then moved to the watercolors. Now before you ask, I am not in my birthday suit, I just rolled my tank top down, but you can be if that's your thing. However, I definitely recommend an old towel because this is gonna get everywhere. The technique for the watercolors goes a little something like this. Take your brush, add paint, add a ton of water, and then press it into your skin to create this drip effect. I alternated between adding only water to my brush to dilute the color and give it a washed out look, to adding only paint to my brush and getting some darker pigmentation in there. It should be random and messy, otherwise it's not gonna look right. When I was happy with the placement of one color, I moved on to the next. Now, I didn't give mine a ton of time to dry in between, which means that the colors mixed as I added new layers, but it looked pretty cool. I wasn't mad about it. I figured a splatter effect would look pretty cool here, and this can be achieved by adding a lot of water to your brush and pulling the bristles back and letting go. It's cool, but don't do it near anything you care about, like your camera? Whoops. Techniques for watercolor include tapping the brush on your skin rather than using strokes so that the placement looks more natural, and contorting your body strangely so the drips go where you'd like them to. I really enjoy this look because unlike a lot of body paints, I think this is really wearable. This would look great at a music festival or a pride parade, or really anywhere that you want to let your freak flag fly. that is it, the finished look. I added a little black hairspray to the left side of my head, the kind you can get at party stores, just to enhance the grayscale illusion. But other than that, you are ready to go wherever it is you're gonna go wearing this. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to my channel or visit me at SpongeSFX on Instagram and Facebook. I am gonna go wash my artist hands. Bye!